It is time. Going live. Yes, we are live. Welcome back. This is a little bit of a pre-stream for WP Plugins, A to Z.com, with all kinds of surprises in store for today. We'll get to those later, though. So I've got chipotles being made out on the barbecue smoker. I've got a loaf of sourdough just came out of the oven, and I've got chicken broth being made on the stove. Nice
Your
busy.
house must be crazy warm right now.
Yeah, well, when the stove's running and everything. It's not crazy warm. It's 22 degrees.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No. Basement's hard to warm up.
I've taken to using a toaster oven we got, which apparently this toaster oven, which was gifted to us, it has an air fry function. I'm excited to try that.
Oh, cool.
But I've been using the toaster oven a lot instead of the big oven because it uses a lot less power, but it does a really good job too.
Yep.
The size of this thing, I could probably cook one of my tiny chickens in if I want to.
Cool.
Hey, you have an air fryer. What can you make with an air fryer?
Everything.
Everything?
There's actually a guy on YouTube. Look up air fryer videos on YouTube. I can't remember his name now, but at first I thought an air fryer was a pretty useless item.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tripped across his, well, actually I followed a lot of his cooking videos. And then he started doing a series on what you can do with an air fryer. And I use my air fryer for everything. It makes excellent French fries. And what you do is
Yes.
you coat French fries in oil and throw them in there. But I've used it to make chicken wings. Makes really great chicken wings. He showed it. He used it to make cinnamon rolls and pretty much anything you make in an oven, you can make in an air fryer. You just got to learn.
That is so cool.
You got to learn how the air fryer works, though, because the temperatures are completely different.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will have to start testing this out because I would love to have the ability to make fries.
Oh, French fries in the air fryer are great. I do them all
You
the
have to
time.
cook them in oil first, though, you said?
No, what I do is how I make my fries is I cut my potatoes, I rinse them real quick, and then I kind of dry them, and then I throw them in a bowl, coat them in olive oil and paprika and salt and pepper, and stir them up really well, and then I throw them in the air fryer for about 25 minutes or so, and they come out really nice and crispy.
Nice. All right. I will do that. Way better than a deep fryer, which you always have to put the fries through 2 times in order to get good crispy fries with a deep fry.
Yeah, the air fryer does a great job. I use it for making potato wedges. Potato wedges are really great.
And you don't have to like half boil them first. You just put them in raw.
You just put them in raw, cook, and it cooks them.
That's so exciting. I like that idea. I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah, an air fryer,
Eventually, when I get a space that is not too short for me to cut on.
Yeah, a proper air fryer is kind of like
Uh-oh, I lost you.
Hello.
You there?
Yeah.
There we go. There's your voice. Okay.
A proper air fryer is like a miniature convection oven. It's a miniature convection oven. It's a miniature version of the commercial convection ovens.
Yeah, but commercial convection ovens, I found they always made things taste funny. I don't know why. Kind of akin to trying to use the same oil after making deep fried fish or something.
Yeah.
Same kind of weird taste.
Could very well be. But I've got to make more bread today. I get to bottle up my new hot sauce. My new
exciting.
Special blend of Dante's Inferno, made with a Carolina Reaper. Very, very hot. I even made the label for it this morning with a big red warning on it. Warning, this is hot.
Not for the faint of heart.
I don't have enough room on the label for not the faint of heart. Unless I put it in fine print. And I wanted it to be kind of bold, warning this is hot.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. That, and I got to can up salsa today. Entire day. It's a good gloomy day out. It's a good day to be in the kitchen.
It is. Can't help but wonder if it's going to rain anytime soon. Keeps threatening rain, but then it just doesn't happen.
Forecast wasn't for rain.
I said threatening rain.
I know. Doesn't even feel
I don't
like...
really pay attention to the forecast very often because usually they'll say it's going to rain today and it doesn't, or they'll say it won't rain till next week, and then you get like 4 days of pouring rain. So I don't pay attention to that so much as to the sky, but because of all the smoke right now, it's hard to really read the sky.
Best job in the world where you can be wrong more than 50% of the time, still keep your job.
Yep.
No, it doesn't even feel like rain. It just feels kind of overcast and a little cool. Very beginning of fall.
Mm-hmm.
Next week is supposed to be sunny and warm, though. And it probably will be. That might be our last week of really good weather.
Last summer hurrah, or last hurrah of summer?
Last hurrah of summer next week. Yeah, that's pretty much what I expect. Last hurrah of summer next week. Maybe a tad bit into the following week, but by the end of September, we're going to be full blown into fall and wet weather. Winter is coming.
That was such a good book series.
Too bad he never finished the last one.
I know. I'm sad about that.
He left everyone hanging.
He did.
He kept promising to finish it, and he never got around to it.
Yeah, well, apparently the show has made up its own ending, so.
Well, that's what they did. They had to. They ran out of material from his books.
Mm.
So they had to make up their own endings on it. They couldn't do it any other way. It's definitely a good book series.
It really is. It's one of those rare ones that totally captures you and brings you completely into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have heard from a third party that you are not being heard.
I am not being heard.
Yeah. Hi, Hemdian. Good to see you.
I'm not being
I wonder,
heard. Hang on a
can
second.
Hemdian hear?
It's definitely a good book series. Well, I just checked on YouTube. I'm being heard just fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with their computer. But according to my feedback on YouTube, I'm hearing it just fine. Hemdian's back. Welcome back, Hemdian.
Oh, okay. So it's not that you're not being heard at all. It's that you're very quiet.
Oh, don't worry. My voice will pick up when the show starts.
Yep.
I'm not in show voice mode yet.
No, you're in rambling mode. Rambling mode is always quiet for you.
It is. It's like I can make my voice be heard a very long distance.
Yes, you can. As your child, I can confirm this.
I used to even in the Masonic Hall where people barely hear people talk. I could be heard at the end of the hall when I decide to actually reach and get my voice up. Don't worry, Hemdian. I'll kick the voice up. All right, it is showtime. I think we should get this show on the road. Let's get going.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 573, and we have plugins for boosters, colorful cats, email encoding, mapstering, emailing, event calendars, and classic press options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Comes to you direct from the oasis deep in the heart of the Cowichan Valley. I'm John Overall, and with me is ever lovely
Amber overall.
And we have a whole new show for you today. After this little intro from me, Amber gets to take over it all. We've been gone for 3 weeks. Yes, I understand it's been a long time, but life got in the way. It was a very busy summer. And in the process of that, we decided to revamp a few things, improve the show, and here it is, the new and improved WP Plugins A to Z.
Welcome to episode 573, Spicing Up WordPress Plugins. Since 33 is a magical number and this is the 33rd episode of 2022, we're going to be trying out a revamp of the way the show flows, like my dad mentioned. It might be a little glitchy the first few times, and we'll likely continue changing it here and there over time. Feedback would be greatly appreciated. We would love to know we would love to hear from you, what you love, what you hate. That way we can change it around. We're kind of in the process. And just a quick message from your A to Z plugin worker bees, that's us. This is a value for value show, meaning any value you find here, offer that same value back. This can be telling someone about us, offering up $5 or more for a sugary boost, or spending some time helping out the show. And don't skip the end of the show, my dear producers. This is where I throw oddball questions at my dad and see if any stump him. Haven't managed yet, but one day, perhaps our listeners could help us out with that. And a special note to our new listeners. Once upon a time, many, many moons ago, when I was still green as fresh spring grass, about 3 years ago, I myself knew less than you do now, since you have found this podcast on your own. I hadn't, so don't be shy to send in questions just because you feel like you know nothing. That's a good thing. There is always someone out there with the same question. There is no judgment here. So, let's start this show with this week's featured artist.
Okay. Keep going.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up the artwork.
Sorry.
I'm pulling up the artwork. I forgot to do that.
Yes, we need the artwork in order to talk about it. This week's artwork is from Greg's Graphics. He has been amazing. I know he's been super busy, but he's still managed to find time to give us some artwork. Can you share your screen with me?
I can.
And Ian said, not glitchy. Not yet.
No, not glitchy.
It'll show up here and there.
We're never glitchy. There we go.
So this week's artwork is awesome. Definitely makes me think of a delicious meal that's being prepared, which is where the show title came from. I like the colors. Definitely a lot of fall colors in there. What do you think?
I do. I like the fall colors. I like its food, man. Making good food.
So if anyone out there is feeling inspired, you can check out all the artwork at wppluginsa2z.com/artwork.
Absolutely. Thanks, Greg. We greatly appreciate it.
Glitch.
So can you play tech news jingle?
I can. I gotta find it. I no longer have them. I no longer have them in a really smooth things. Here we go.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! Thank you. And now the WordPress news with John Overall.
No, wait, Amber. I'm going to have to change that jingle.
So this is the breaking news in the WordPress world at large today. The first thing we have is the iThemes WordPress vulnerability report for September 14th. I know that we've missed a few during our most recent battle with the Chaos Beast. And so in order to see the last few, you will have to go to our show notes, check out the link, and then you can check out the previous vulnerability reports. Now, for those unaware, there was a WordPress core vulnerability recently. If you haven't already, be sure to update your site to WordPress 6.0.2 as soon as possible. Other than that, the only thing to report for this week is Ketchup Restaurant Reservations. There is no known fix, and it is a high vulnerability plugin. That's it.
Okay.
Next up, we have Jetpack Performance Team takes over WP Super Cache development. So, after 15 years, WP Super Cache author Doncha O'Kheim is handing over maintenance and development to Jetpack's performance team. Hopefully, this will not mean that this plugin will be lumped into Jetpack multi-tool or that this plugin itself will become a super multi-tool. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I don't trust Jetpack.
Me either. Like, they seem like such a great thing, but then their plugins are so full of stuff.
it started out to be a great thing. Jetpack was pretty decent when it first started out. Then they started pulling back all the standalone plugins, and you could only get them through Jetpack, and that's why I started going after different plugins.
Yeah, I think they lost focus. I
Well,
think that's the main issue. They lost focus and tried to put too much into single plugins, and it's just
that seems to be a common problem in WordPress right now, is a loss of focus.
Next, we have new MailChimp breach exposed DigitalOcean customer email addresses. A lot of people use MailChimp, I have noticed. This is a good thing to know. The security breach exposed the email addresses of some customers, with this small number receiving unauthorized password resets. First learned about on August 8th, it has been dealt with, though may still want to double check, make sure your sites are updated, and maybe change passwords if you are a user of DigitalOcean.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, I haven't used MailChimp in quite some time, but I used to use it all the time. And some people still use MailChimp. There's many companies that use MailChimp. It's relatively affordable. Their emails generally get delivered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's very few problems getting past all the censors and spam anti-spam bots, as long as you're sending a good, clean newsletter.
Next, we have Newsletter Glue closes free plugin on WordPress.org. Newsletter Glue creators have removed their free plugin from WordPress.org in favor of focusing on the commercial version. There was a warning to users 5 months ago that they would be closing the free version and no longer updating as of May 1st. However, the process was delayed until August 15th. The reason for this delay was that they had set the plugin so that when one upgraded, the free version automatically uninstalled, and the pay version installed and activated. This caused some issues and took some work. So they are now closing down the free version.
Yeah.
Next, we have Woocommerce to stop registering customizer options in upcoming 6.9 release. What this means is that they're making a move to remove the customizer menu entirely from admin for those who are using a block theme. This is an effort to clean up the admin and eliminate confusion. Version 6.9 is expected to release in September 2022, so sometime this month.
Very nice. Very nice. It's a good thing for them to get away from the customizer. The customizer, I never really liked it when it was first introduced. And then lots of developers and themes and plugins started running all their stuff through customizer, and it just made it confusing as to where to find what you're looking for.
Yeah. And then we have the new 2023 default theme is now in development. The development team seem to be hard at work creating a new version where they will be bundling together a curated set of style variations rather than creating new theme from scratch. It appears the community likes the idea, so the plans are now underway to create a stripped back version of 2022 as the base of the new theme. Should be interesting to see how it turns out.
We'll see if it actually works. I tried using the 2022 theme. I disabled it about 10 minutes into it and went, yeah, no, this ain't going to work.
No, 2023 default
I know,
theme.
but you said it was being based on the 2022 theme.
Yeah, but what they're doing is they're basing it on the 2022 theme, but they're only taking some aspects of it. They're not actually creating a whole one.
Yeah.
They're taking different aspects of 2022 and
even
they're making it so that this is just like an addition rather than a whole new theme.
Yeah, well, even the 2022 theme wasn't a full theme.
Oh, okay.
It was a block theme. You're supposed to figure out all the pieces that come together with it. So maybe the 2023 will actually work. Yeah,
Maybe.
obviously, you haven't tried the 2022 theme.
No, I haven't.
I was building a new website, and I thought, well, let's give it a try and see if it works. And 10 minutes into it, like, yeah, no, this ain't going to work.
Next, we have Matt Mullenweg renews push for canonical plugins.
Canonical.
This means that he is calling for teams to adopt a plugin-first approach when developing new features for core. He wants the plugins to be developed with community rather than by a single person. I'm not entirely sure this will equal best possible example of coding standards, as he says in his statement, though it should be interesting to watch it play out.
Yeah, it will be interesting. The thing is, like, part of what he's there, he wants to, instead of having things go into the core, have it as a plugin. instead, which is how WordPress was in the beginning. And then they got the idea that all kinds of crazy shit should go into the core. And tossing that crazy shit in the core was creating problems for them. But this thing of like, oh, we got to have the plugin be developed by a community. Well, not all plugins are developed by communities. Sometimes one person has a really great idea and develops it up. And doesn't really want to work with community, because sometimes working with a community is really a hard pain in the ass.
Well, also, sometimes you need just the one person to do it, because if only one person creates the code, it's actually more likely to run smooth. Whereas when there's a whole community, everybody adds a touch up. Too many cooks in the kitchen, right?
Yep, same sort of problem.
And then we have Woocommerce.com brings back sandbox sites for testing extensions.
Well, it's
I
about bloody
think this
time.
is great.
It's about bloody time, actually.
Yeah. You'll be able to fully test a function before purchasing it, which is awesome. I mean, we often get to taste food before we buy it, so why not test plugins before we buy them? I think it's fantastic.
Well, the big thing with plugins is that, especially when you're paying the premium prices that WooCommerce charges at, $75 to $300 for a plugin, granted, yeah, they do have a 30-day refund on it, but sometimes you buy the plugin and you don't get around to doing everything till like 15-20 days into it, and you don't have enough time, and you discover too late for the refund. But the big thing is, like, if you got someplace where you can go test it and make sure it's going to give you all the functionality you need, it's all the better.
And the last one I have on here is A Beginner's Guide to the AI Apocalypse, a democratization of expertise. I thought this was pretty awesome read. Like, it says, forget killer robots, we should be way more worried about friendly chatbots. I thought this was an interesting take, because the phrase democratization of expertise sounds good, but what happens when friendly chatbots are filled up with information from crowds teaching all the wrong things, like the chatbot trained in 4chan, which was very entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, the worst case scenario, the ability of the friendly chatbots to imitate humans may get to the point where they will be able to convince humans that what they are saying makes sense, far surpassing our own ability to detect doo-doo. Democratization of expertise is what happens when everybody believes they are an expert.
Yep.
I found this very interesting, and I think it's well worth a read for anyone.
Yeah, well, if you want more on AI, I caught something this morning. The guys that are doing the AI for Google sent out a report that AI is going to kill humanity. Okay.
Okay.
There's a good reason for us to get AI rolling down the road.
All right, so Classic Press news. Classic Press has projects that they are looking to have some support with. They have a page with these projects listed and who the contact is for the project. Check out the following page if you are interested, and try helping them out and getting them to move forward.
That would be really great.
So we don't really have much other classic news right now. This is all we have. Hopefully we'll have more in the future. And then we have the extra news, which has some more WP, some more WordPress stuff and some random stuff, some basically all kinds of tech information. Always worth looking through, because you'll find some like hacking information in here as well. And of course, we also at the end of that have some random entertainment in the world of WordPress. So that's always fun to check out.
Absolutely.
It's a contest. WordPress plugins from A to Z. Oh, stuff for free!
So, time to have a peek at our contest for the week. Firstly, we want to thank Simple Giveaways for being totally awesome and providing us with their premium version for our contest. Secondly, we want to thank Steve Goodtime and Brent Matthews for creating our amazing jingle that we still use. We don't have a contest going on right now. When Charlie had to leave us behind for bigger and better things, he left some pretty big shoes to fill, and we just haven't had the time to fill the shoes ourselves over this last year. Thank you, Charlie, for hanging around for so long, keeping our show's contests on the up and up, making this show the best it could be. If anyone out there thinks they might be able to fill the shoes Charlie left behind, please give us a shout and give it a go. You can always reach us through wppluginsa2z.com/contact, or you can shoot me a message at amber@wppro.ca. Remember, this is your show. We are just the worker bees here. Don't be afraid to jump up and down and demand a turn at the wheel to help guide the show to where you want it to go. That goes for all the developers out there too. This is your show. By supporting us with your plugin donations, you are helping to guide the show where you want to see it go. A giant thank you is owed to the developers who have been supporting us this whole time. We honestly could not have gotten the show even started without you. If any developers out there listening right now are interested in adding to the show by donating a premium license for our contest, you can do so by going to wppluginsa2z.com/plugin contest. Now for the good stuff. Did the sound play?
Yes, it did. You must not have heard it.
Okay. I didn't hear it. That's okay. Off we go into the meat and potatoes of plugin depravity.
Absolutely. All right, first plugin I've got for you all this week is Booster Elementor Add-Ons. This plugin here is one, if you're using Elementor, this adds you a whole bunch of new widgets and styles and all kinds of elements to allow you to go crazy with your Elementor design. It adds up to 60 unique stylish elements that you can create the craziest web pages on the block with. Includes custom coding and more. Pretty good little one. They've even got a demo place where you can go check out all their different stuff and see what it does. All in all, not a bad plugin to check out. Go check it out. It's called Booster Elementor Add-Ons.
That seems like it'd be fun. One of those that you could probably lose track of time checking out.
Probably if you're doing too much stuff, or if you just, kind of like a noob printing a newspaper where you think 75 fonts and 12 pages is a cool thing. Not that I've ever done that,
Oh, no, not you. Hamdeen said, "Aw, I've missed me some depravity." So first one I have today is Mapster Wp Maps. We were sent this plugin to review from Victor Temprano, the CEO of Mapster. You can find Mapster's information at mapster.me. Here's what Victor has to say about this plugin. Mapster Wp Maps integrates modern mapping into WordPress with a bevy of features for users who want to make beautiful maps. It includes Mapbox, MapLibra, and Google Maps, offering a wide range of possible map styles, map controls, filters, and lists, clustering, custom pop-ups, and much more. There is also a pro version with user submission features, mass editing, huge uploads, 3D shapes, and objects. It's a whole lot of plugin. So what I have to say about this is, in the free version, I found there's a lot you can do with this plugin. I found it a little frustrating at first because I didn't quite catch on to the fact that you're supposed to put in your locations before you make the actual map, and there is no way to plug in the locations on the map itself. However, once I got over that little hump, the rest was really quite easy to work with. The map looks great. I love the way the maps zoom in with whatever location, and that all viewers have the ability to zoom in and out. No matter what your map is of, every viewer on your site will have the opportunity to look at the whole world map too. I thought that was kind of cool. Victor was kind enough to grant us a temporary premium key, and when I went in to play around the pro version, I found the additional toys are a little dangerous for one's schedule. They're a lot of fun. You can absolutely use the free version of this plugin to get what you need done. Though if you're looking for more in-depth mapping capability, you will want to go for the pro version of this plugin. You can check out a demo on their site. This plugin is well thought out, and so long as you don't skip through the tutorial offered too fast, like I kind of did, it should be more than easy enough to work with. Thank you, Victor, with Mapster, for sending in this awesome plugin. I rate it at 4 dragons.
Very cool. Sounds like a great mapping plugin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The next one I have for you here today is Colorful Categories. And this is a simple plugin that turn on, activate, allows you to go colorize all your categories. One, make it easier.
That's cool.
Make it easier for you to do it. But if you decide to display your categories in a listing somewhere on your site, it displays them in colorful bubbles. Just a pretty much simple plugin that allows for custom taxonomy support. It's got lots of color selections, great for different themes. You can customize it. Responsive and flexible widget. Just kind of a fun way to display your categories up on your website. Something to go check out. It's colorful categories, and I give it a 4 dragon rating.
That looks like so much fun. Next one I have is another plugin that was sent in to us. It's called Email Creator. We were sent this plugin to review from Nagayan Van Nagayan. Hopefully I'm saying his name at least somewhat correct. You can find their information at emailcreator.app. So what he has to say about this plugin is Email Creator, WooCommerce email customizer, bundled with one-of-a-kind email templates with lower unsubscribe rates, higher click-through rates, and more sales. What I have to say is firstly, be sure to keep an eye on the left side of your menu for the pink envelope. That is where all the settings for this plugin are. The name that appears is Willoki Email Creator, so just look for the bright colored envelope. In the free version, you have the option of free templates to use, and they're pretty good looking. Although Pro version offers better options. I love the fact these guys seem to be as fond of hot pink as I am. It made it browse through all of the templates. The setup is straightforward, easy to use. The system works well. It creates automated emails for your WooCommerce so that you don't have to go through and respond to each email you receive individually with your own time. It's a very focused plugin, so it only does one thing and it works really well. I haven't found any glitches in it. I think that it's a really good one to grab if you need this kind of thing, this kind of plugin. In order to purchase the Pro version, you do have to sign up on their site, get a link, follow the link. It's a bit of a process, mildly frustrating. I always prefer to simply have the ability to plug the license key directly into the plugin settings on your own site, though I can understand the need for more data. And in the Pro version, you get more options for templates. You go from having 3 to having a whole bunch of them. So many bright colors. So much fun. Thank you, Nagayan with Email Creator, for sending in this awesome plugin our way. I rate it at 4 dragons.
Very cool. Anything to help improve emails and sign-ups on everything is a good thing.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
We interrupt this Meat and Potatoes, a Plug-in Depravity edition, to bring you our donation segment to thank our producers. Remember, it's your show. We are just the worker bees here. And don't forget to restock the show's larders with some time, treasure, or talent donations. Need more information on how to do that? You can check out our site, wppluginsa2z.com. Right up in the menu, you will see each one under donations. Special thanks goes to freelance producers popping in and out. Though always showing up at unexpected times, these producers are surely part of the reason our name is getting out there. Thank you. And backroom producers hanging out in the lounge. Always about the place, consuming all the coffee and donuts, these producers earn it by helping out with our content, artwork, site organization, notes, questions, suggestions, licenses, and by hiring us. Your time and talent donations are equal to your treasure donations of under $50, and we would not be here without you. Thank you. And now we also have War Room producers. With their donations of $50 or more, these producers receive a few extra perks. An official A to Z handle of their choice, a spotlight in that week's show for a short speech, an official executive producership credit, and seeing the magic as it happens up in the war room before we send the show out into the netherworld of the internets. Thank you for sticking by us and helping to keep the backroom producers stocked in coffee and donuts. More information on all those things you'll find in the notes. Thank you. Now back to the meat and potatoes of Plug-in Depravity.
Alrighty, there we go. Last plugin I've got for you here today is Download Email Address Encoder. This is a very useful tool for your website if you want to avoid all the spam. You'll never stop it, but you can avoid a fair amount by preventing your email address from being harvested by bots. What this one does for you is it goes in and you stick your email in, and then you stick it in with a codifier, and it just rambly scrambles it up so it can't be picked up by bots. But anyone else that sees it and reads it can grab it and make full use of it. protects all your sites or all your pages. It improves all the protections throughout it. It's got built-in support for AFC, Jetpack, Woocommerce, and many others. Such a great little tool to help eliminate all the spam that you will get on your site once you stick or in your email box once you stick an email in there, or even a phone number. If you stick a phone number in there, you get the random dial a call too. At any rate, I thought it was a great tool, something everyone could use, and go check it out. Help eliminate the spam, and it's download email address encoder, and I give it a 4 dragon rating.
That sounds very useful. Last one I have today is the events calendar. I wanted to make mention of these guys again because they kind of blew my mind recently in our dealings with them. Recently, when we were working with a client, our client was trying to get very specific things completed for their site, and unfortunately, the events calendar just wasn't cutting it for some reason. We reached out to them, and honestly, we thought we'd kind of been blown off at first. However, within weeks, the event calendar dropped an update that had all of the capabilities available we've been asking about. I was totally blown away by that. I don't know if maybe their own war room worker bees were already getting a lot of these things going, and they just decided to add in a couple more things because of us, or what was going on, or if they even just took what we asked for and added in specifically. I don't know, but I was pretty surprised and very happy, and I just wanted to make mention of how awesome it was to at least feel like I've been heard. One of the things that have changed them is you now have the ability to create events with a start date but no ending date. That was a big one for us. And there are more things going on. Be sure to check out their latest update to see all the changes and check it out for yourselves. For that, they get a 5 dragon rating from me.
Yeah, very cool. I'm kind of happy with their new update. I've installed it onto the Rogues Oasis website, where I maintain a calendar. It should be installed at the WP Plugins website too. And I know when we first made mention about all of this that they weren't providing, and I threatened to pull my license. And it's not cheap to have the events calendar. It's an expensive license every year.
It is.
So it's having them actually bring out all that stuff, even though it was a bit later, and it's like they seemed to not, one hand didn't seem to know the other was happening back in the development room. Still great, and it is a excellent calendar, and with the improvements, it makes it a more worthwhile calendar once again.
I was really happy with that, so just wanted to make that mention as my last plugin today.
Yep.
Classic Press. We have sadly neglected Classic Press, so we're working to remedy this. To any Classic Press user listening right now, I challenge you to write a review of your favorite or least favorite Classic Press plugin and send it in to us. You can do so by hitting us up at wpplugins.com/submit-plugin-review. And feel free to add any more to this section by shooting me an email at amber@wppro.ca. We also have a Classic Press resource section. This information, it's like fruitcake. It doesn't wither away and will still be good years down the road, so it's great for learning. Go and check this section out in our show notes if you have an interest. And we have some listener feedback.
Cool. Let's go with it.
So the listener feedback we got today is WordPress tip from a freelance producer. Hi, John. I have a cool WordPress tip for you. I see that you're linking to plugins in the WP repository. And did you know that by replacing WordPress with Taste WP in the URL, it spins up a demo site with that plugin already installed? For instance, tastewp.org/plugins /advanced access manager. So regular WP users have the quickest way to check out any plugin in the WordPress directory by simply swapping WordPress with TasteWP in the URL. So if you go to wordpress.org/plugins/Elementor, try putting in tastewp.org/plugins/Elementor. It can be very simple. You just go, you can check it out. It's totally free to use, no login required. Kind regards, Emma.
Yeah, it's actually quite a cool tool. I did check it out.
It is.
And it does. It takes a few minutes for it to spin it up for you. But they have a service where, if you sign up for the service, you can keep it. If you don't sign up for the service, you don't have to log in. You can go test out the plugin, but after a day or two, I think it gets wiped out.
2 days.
It's 2 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just looking at last night, and it has a countdown starting at 2 days.
Yeah, and if you pay for the service, you can keep it for a longer period of time. So it's a great way to go test out plugins, and I thought it was a really useful thing as a way to test out and find out if the plugins work instead of having to spin them up on your own website.
Oh yeah, it's so useful. I really like it. Thank you so much, Emma, for sending that in to us. I hope that you guys get loads of people going to check you out. And we have a bit on how to be part of your own production here. You can get yourself interviewed by going to wpplugins.com/interview. You can send in a plugin review or suggestion for a plugin review by going to wpplugins.com/submit plugin review. Or you can send in questions or comments. You can send it to my email at amber@wppro.ca, or you can go to wpplugins.com/contact. And then we have some reminders about stuff. And I forgot to change that. We already had our meetup. The meetup was a little sad this time around, but it was good.
It was still a fun meetup. It was on September 10th at the Oasis, so more little social meetups will happen. I don't know if we'll ever have the meetups again where I give presentations and whatnot, but the social meetups, I think we'll start having them again.
I like the social meetups. I'm a little sad that not more people could have made it this time around, but hopefully next time.
Yep.
And remember to check out our show notes on our site at wppplugins.com. There is a lot of extra information that I don't speak out loud. It's just in our show notes, so go check it out. There's a lot there.
Okay. I guess it's time.
It's question and answer time.
What, Amber?
If anyone out there has any questions they'd like to send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca, and we'll see if we can stump my dad. First question. Do you think it would be possible to keep up with all the tech news out there as one person? Why or why not?
No, it's not possible. Because you don't have enough hours in the day that you to be awake to keep up with it. Because the tech news has been changing so rapidly. I mean, for the longest time, it was relatively easy to stay at least abreast of the headlines. But the last 10 years of it, the information comes at us so fast and heavy now, it's impossible to keep it up. You have to choose a niche, and you can keep up with a niche market, niche area of the tech industry, but you can't keep up with it all because it's so much is constantly changing. You can grab a headline here and two for the other stuff, but it's just not possible. I mean, even a magazine that prints tech news can't even keep up with it all.
That is true. I have to go browsing through like 10 sites just to get all the information on WordPress alone.
Yeah. It used to be more centralized, but there used to be a whole lot less of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're inundated with information nowadays. It's just so much information nowadays. All the stuff, it's just you drowning in a sea of information.
Next question. How can you tell if your local drive, like your C drive on your computer, has an error of some sort?
Well, there's no visible way to tell. Usually you find out it's got an error when your computer kicks up something that says error writing to this drive. You can another way to find out if you got an error, you write data to it and then you try to access that data and it's corrupted. But there's no visible way to know when your hard drive's failing. You get hints when a hard drive is failing. You start having random glitches for no apparent reason. And it's usually data being read back from the drive is coming back corrupted. But there's no real way to tell without it. Computers monitor the drives. I haven't been into the BIOS, but once upon a time, the BIOS used to monitor if the drive was having problems and then notify the computer or the operating system, which would notify you.
Hmm. All right, so before I read the last question, We'll be coming back to that last question after the song ends, so be sure to stick around for that. We just need to do a bit of closing up of the show.
Okay.
So today's plugins that we covered. You usually read yours first.
Yep. I covered up Booster Elementor Add-Ons, which I gave a 4 to. Colorful Categories, which I gave a 4 to. And Download Email Address Encoder, which I gave a 4 to.
And I covered Mapster Wp Maps, which I rated at 4. Email Creator, which I rated at 4. And the Events Calendar, which I rated at 5. You can support the show by subscribing to our newsletter, donating, or reviewing us on Stitcher Radio, Google Play, or the iTunes Store. You can also join us on Facebook. Make sure you hit the like button on our YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
You can get a hold...
I just said absolutely. Go ahead.
You can get a hold of us. We actually do have a snail mail address that you can send physical items or letters to, and that you can find that in the show notes, or you can email us, which you can also find both of our emails in the show notes.
All right.
And then that's the end.
All right. Let's play the credits. And we'll be right back after the credits for the big questions.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA2Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Glitch.
I had to throw that in there because we had some glitches kicking through the show.
Only some?
Yeah, well, you know, we'll get this sorted out. It'll all be good in the world today, little by little.
All right. So last question is it possible for your local drive to develop an issue but be unable to detect it, for example? I remember once when I managed to create a shortcut to a document I wrote out. However, there was simply nothing there. I was partially caused by a drive error, but was the drive able to detect it?
Okay, well, it is local. You can have an issue and unable to detect it, yes, as I sort of explained before. I don't quite understand what you mean here. You know, you created a shortcut to a document you wrote. You couldn't find anything there, so it didn't get saved. Was the drive able to...
the shortcut was there.
The shortcut was there. The software said it existed, but when it went to fetch the data, it couldn't find anything. So from my perspective, it's, smart technology. If your local, Hemdian has something. If your local drive has errors, you can always use tools like check disk or scan disk. They can even repair some issues, but it may take some time. God, yeah, it can take a lot of time on nowadays terabyte drives. It takes forever to run a scan disk on them.
Oh wow!
One of the things people from your drive data is not stored like a record. Okay. You know, if you play a vinyl record, you've got one line, it plays all the way through. The data is specifically on a line on that record. Your drive doesn't store data that way. it kind of like a squirrel storing nuts.
Oh,
Okay, it goes, hey, let's put some in this hole in this oak tree, and let's go stuff some over in by the elm tree around the block, and let's go stuff a few up in the eaves of that house, and that's how your hard drive stores data. But then what it does is it writes a master record of where all the data is stored. And so when it goes to look for the data, first it looks in the master record to find out where it is on the drive. And then it looks in the master record, says, yeah, okay, data's located at this spot on the drive. And then the head slides over and it grabs it from that particular spot. And then I have no idea exactly how the new SSD drives, the solid state drives work, because they don't have a moving head. So I have no idea how they work at all. I should, because flash drives were just coming into vogue when I sold my computer store, and I've used them, and I just never bothered to go down that path because I never needed to learn that information, so I just didn't bother. But I just know it's not an easy thing to do. And finding errors nowadays on it, you're dependent upon the magic software to find it, as to tell you if there's a problem or not. And sometimes if you find out you have an error, you can run check disk or scan disk, and like Hemdian said, it will oftentimes repair the error and recover the data and move it to a readable spot on the drive. So, and then
well, these questions are coming from the fact that I lost an entire file on my computer, and I haven't been able to find it. There's no errors. There's no issue that I can find with everything I've tried. It just all vanished. And I've tried saving things into the file because the file is still there, even though it's empty. And it'll save things there and I can access it again. It's a weird thing that I've been looking at and trying to figure out. So that's where these questions are actually coming from.
You got data that removed, but if you write to the same spot, suddenly it works fine?
Yep.
Okay, I blame it on the AI and move on, because if you can write data back to the same spot and now it works, it's like for some reason the day you saved it, it didn't actually save it.
But that's the thing. I'd had that file for 6 months and I'd been saving things over time. And then one day it was just empty.
Yeah.
Not invisible, just empty.
Yeah.
And now I can save things to it again. I'm wondering if maybe when I started searching, maybe it did have a glitch or issue and it did repair it, just didn't talk about it or something. I don't know.
Any number of things could have happened there. It's really
It is the
hard.
weirdest thing. It's like my missing black shelf.
It's really hard to say. It just fell into the vortex. And away it went, deep down into the vortex. All right, for those of you that are still hanging around here on YouTube listening to us, I hope you guys enjoyed the new format. Amber did a fantastic job on it. I thought it flowed really well. Granted, I didn't always keep up with all the new jingles and changes because pretty much I didn't read these things till this morning and I only skimmed through it. So I only
I thought that the bright red writing in the notes would kind of give you a hint on when you're supposed to play the jingles.
Red's kind of like an ignore signal to me. I kind of ignore red,
I'll have to make it bright pink then.
Yeah, bright pink might work. You never know. I don't know. No, now that I know it's all there, I will do just fine with it. I'll do just fine going forward. It's the fact that I didn't write it, so it wasn't in my head, and I didn't sit down and spend the time to read it all very carefully. I just sort of skimmed it. Well, yeah, okay, look for these things. But you gotta remember, I'm also looking at 3 monitors, monitoring different things here, so I sort of jump to the notes, move to something else, pay attention to this. And I do got to work on the audio here at the Oasis. That one's going to be a tough one. I may have to go out and spend some money and buy myself a proper soundboard for the Oasis. We'll see how it sounds next week.
Excuses.
Well, people keep telling me this and say, no, it's not excuses. It's simple facts, man. I don't make excuses. I refuse to make excuses. I had this problem recently with somebody else when I was trying to explain why I'm not doing something the way they wanted it done. And they're like, we could come up with excuses. I said, it's not an excuse. It's a simple fact. You can't do it from this particular... Well, you can. And then I said, well, show me. And by the time they showed me, that's exactly how I was going to do that. And that's what I was explaining to you. And then they're like, and it's like, yeah, never mind. Give it to me and go away. I don't make excuses. I refuse to make excuses in my life.
Uh-oh, apparently I hit a sore spot today. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, It's something that was irritable to me. It was an irritable thing. I don't make excuses. It's simple facts of why things need to be done or not done in certain ways. Excuses is like, oh man, I can't do this because I got a headache today. My back hurts. It's too hard to get my ass up off and do it. No, that's a fucking excuse.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Hemdian added something.
Oh, what's that?
I also once had a corrupted symbolic link. There was a file I could access, but not delete or move. Check disk fixed it.
Oh yeah, I've had that too. I recently
Okay,
had
what's
that
a symbolic link?
It's like the shortcut on your desktop.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it is. I don't know for certain. Ask him. Ask Hemdian, what is a symbolic link? Explain it to us. I know what it is, but I can't explain it.
Check disk slash scan disk is non-fixed mode, can show up issues, and is much faster.
Oh, in non-fixed mode. Yeah, well. Yeah, it'll show the issues, but then you got to run it again to fix the issues. So which way you want to do this?
Well, if you do it in non-fixed mode, then you can at least see whether or not there's any issues.
Yeah, usually whenever I was going to run scan disk or check disk, I'd plan it for a time when I'm going to go to bed and let it run all night long.
That works.
You know, let it do those things while I was sleeping. When I had the computer store, when I had computers I needed to scan and run and whatnot, is that I would set up all the computers to do all their scans. When I closed the store, by the time I got back in the morning, all the scans were done.
Hemdian says he can't explain it either.
Well, I feel much better now, thanks, Hemdian. I don't feel so foolish about it, but I really think I do understand what it is, and I know what it is. And sometimes you get random stuff, or you get random stuff in computers. Recently, when I was cleaning up and repairing, doing some work on my servers, we found one client had a whole bunch of files in there with these random characters in there. We couldn't delete them, and I had to finally get my tech boys to go in there. And I don't know what magic they pulled, but they managed to get the files deleted from the server. So sometimes you just got to up it to a level of technology supporters that know even more than you do.
I think I must have missed a comment by Hemdian, because he says, read my comment about
Rikuva?
useful tip.
Rikuva, useful tip. Did we miss a comment? If your local drive has errors, they can even repair some issues. Sound levels, well, my sound levels are working on those. Smart technology. Corrupted symbolic.
No, I don't see that.
I don't see
comment.
a comment about Rikuva, whatever Rikuva is. Recover my brain. Recover my brain. Well, we're gonna find out how the show sounds next week from the Brewery Overlook, which we haven't done a show in front of the Brewery Overlook in almost 3 months.
No, we haven't.
So, because next week I'm back at the Brewery Overlook. So
I like it when you're at the Brewery Overlook. There's no echo in my ears.
Well, you know, the room's different.
Yep.
And the setup is different. And there I have a full mixing board. I have a full mixing board there. I don't have a mixing board here to do things. I have a sort of half-assed. My very first mixing board is what I'm actually using here. And it's not a very good mixing board. It's got 2 tracks on it, and it doesn't pull everything in very well.
I think you used it to death.
Well, I used it, then I gave it to your uncle, and he used it for a while, and then he got his own system, and he left this sitting here, and this is all I had when I took over this place. So
Makes sense.
So it is what it is. We've got everything all set up. Appreciate it, Hemdian. Thanks for coming. Always nice to have you here for the show, and I think that's it. I think we should call it a day. What do you think?
Just one note to anyone who has stuck around for this long for the show. If you do like this show and you want to be part of the conversation at the end, because we do seem to have a bit more extra conversation at the end of every show, stick around, join the chat here. Add in your comments into the chat. We'll read them out, and we'll do our best to keep the conversation going for however long people are interested, within reason.
Within reason.
We turn off the show absolutely at about noon, but if you have more to say, add it in. We love it when people talk to us.
That's it. All right. Let's call it a wrap.
Sounds good.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty. That's all we got for you, folks. Take care now.